But yeah, talking about 24-hour streams, there might be one upcoming on my end, because yeah, Yuri might become unavailable even sooner for Gaming in Ties, which means that we really need to get them achievements. And
you're going to do a 24-hour Terraria stream?
Maybe we need to see how we do it. We probably need to put our heads together because planning was horribly earlier, but enough of the self-promotion. Hello and welcome everybody to the AWKWARDCast. ANY and Keyframe, Wonderbout, Random Drivel. And today with us again, Wuten. But yeah, before you may introduce yourself, a big welcome to everybody to the 99th episode, which is probably even more impressive than it looks at first, if we consider that, last week was, I left this one in charge, and she brought 2 of her DA Games buddies in it. By the way, something wrong with my camera, but let me fix this. Oh yeah, now my camera is working again. So
hey! Besides not sending you the links, I think we did a really good job. I did as good of a job as Jesse or Dodger does when Total Biscuit wasn't available when they did those shows.
No, I mean, I was there. I was in the chat. The
you were just salty because
finally...
half the stream was Sean roasting you.
I wasn't even salty. I had a great time. But no. Enough about the past, more about the present. Wuten, even though you have been with us so many beautiful times before, this actually is the first time you're with us in the 3rd season, so probably everybody has completely forgotten who you are, what you do, and why they should care. So please remind them, refresh their memories.
Hello, everyone. I am Wuten. This is the third time that I have been on this stream.
Really?
And
only?
It is a fun time every time. So basically what I do is I perform voice work for various people that are part of the My Little Pony fandom, as well as some other gigs here and there that I do. I run some D&D campaigns and whatnot and have a good time. They have, over the course of this show, I have been in 3 different locations. The first one that I was on was at my parents' house back when I was living with them. Second time was at the house that I was living at with my brother. This third time, number 99, is in my own apartment. I am finally on my own.
We all have our own apartments.
Bravo!
Yes. Now I can record in peace.
Now you can put Dockies up in as your wallpaper without any judgment. In fact, Sabrina may promote it.
I know, right? That may end up being the case.
But yeah, what has life been bringing the old Wooten boy since, as of recent or since the show last time you were here?
Well, I literally just
3
moved
times.
in,
Sorry.
3 weeks ago. So I'm still getting all of this moved in and whatnot. I've got a couple of boxes left over that I need to unpack, but things are going well. I have moved over to the day shift, which also means that this was so much easier for me to wake up and prepare for. I was awake and ready to go 2-ish hours before the pre-show started, which is something that I have not been used to up to this point.
I also want to point out, the last time you were on the show was episode 66, so we now need to just get you on in intervals of 33.
But the next one isn't looking that fancy. The next one is just, what is it even?
Well, I mean, like, we just need to we can make it high. No, he just has to be in episodes where the first number and the second number are the same.
111, maybe?
Wait, the first number ends the second number, and we are soon in the 3 digits. This would mean
then you're
we would have to have
the same 3-digit number, which means if we somehow, years down the line, get to episode 666, you can be Satan.
Yes. Perfect. Yes.
I'm going to be the person who says you can never cancel the show until that ends.
I mean, we can also just, at least when we reach 500 or something, then he will be like, okay, guys, come on.
Let's make this 2 podcasts a week. Come on, we can do it. Double down.
No, but I personally like the idea that he gets everyone where the two first numbers are the same. So basically we have him as a guest from 110 until 119 every week, 9 weeks in a row. The 10
But
weeks
never,
even.
never the actual, like, big number. You're not that important. Anyways,
Ouch.
has anything else happened in your life besides us insulting you?
Not too much, honestly. I've been to a couple cons last few months. I went to Babs Con. I saw Keyframe there for a couple times. I stopped by the vendor hall and whatnot.
God, that con is just running from one place to the other.
Yeah, I know how that is. Let's see, what else? Sabrina is actually going to be moving down here in a couple of weeks. I will be, 2 weeks, in fact. I'll be flying out there, and we will be driving down with all her stuff. So.
Also, Sabrina, I saw your question for the Q&A section. 1, thank you for the Game Grumps reference. 2, I don't want to say that question out loud.
Is this the one
that
on
means
Twitter?
It's all up to A&Y.
Yes, it's the one on Twitter.
From Bree Lizzie T at
Yes,
Funky Town.
That's Sabrina.
Yes.
Unless, I mean, it probably would have been since there are only 2 on Twitter, and I was not aware that Kichi changed her real life name into Sabrina. So okay, I got you covered.
God.
I will mutilate this. I will mutilate this question.
Nice. So, anything else?
Not really too much, honestly. We're mostly just moving in right now and planning stuff for BronyCon in a couple of weeks.
Why is it that whenever we get you, it's when you're in a transition period in your life? Like, I think the last time we had you, you were like changing ships or moving out, then you were moving in, and now you're moving in again. Are we gonna next time we're gonna get you, it's gonna be like, guys, I became an astronaut. I'm gonna be in space.
Guys, I got promoted.
Do not forget, Keyframe, life is like a river, always flowing. Wank off, wank on.
Oh, God, are we doing a Mark of the Ninja stream again? Like,
I love it.
Anyways, that's nothing else.
This is how the quote
Max,
goes,
what
right?
exciting things have you happened in your life?
I was not here for a week. That happened, as people might have noticed last week when stuff went like, do I have the GIF still ready? I have the other GIF. This was me in real life. This was me sitting there enjoying the show, commenting in the comments. No, why was I not here? My parents are on a trip in Spain, and their by now very much elderly dog is should not be missing his
alone.
Should not be missing its her masters as well as her surroundings. So it was like, hey, let's get the son in here and let him sit hound and house. So
the goodest girl.
Exactly.
She is a good girl. That she's so cute.
She is so old. Like basically.
How old?
Walking. She is like, I believe 2 digits already, which is for a Labrador quite impressive.
That is a good.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
So I personally am like, she might not see 2020, so this was probably my last time to see her, depending on when I make it back to my family again.
Welcome to the AWKWARDCast, where we talk about dying dogs.
I know, no, but she is. But here's the reason: she is still, even though she has dragging her hind legs behind her. She is not suffering. She is enjoying life as much as she can with a lack of mobility, which is why my parents are like, she is not suffering. She's having a good time. So we are not going to end this for her.
She's in her retirement home
exactly.
stage. That's what she is.
Exactly. Right. She is just enjoying, her Lebensabend. There's no word for English for Lebensabend, is there? Like the end of your life where you're sick.
She's in her golden years.
Exactly.
She's on her
on her porch.
Home stretch, final lap.
On her porch.
We do have turns.
Yeah, on her porch, sitting there in her wiggly chair, in a lawn chair, and just watching the garden. And whenever she sees something, or imagine, because Because pretty much because her organ is still there. The moment she starts barking, the house is shaking. Like, come on, you can barely walk. You sleep the half the day, but still. But yeah.
Yeah, she makes
overall,
me think of, yeah.
But yeah, overall, no big events. I was just staying there and working from home and spending a bit of time with family. I believe I actually managed to see everybody and do something with everybody.
Oh, that's nice.
I had I had
a wholesome week.
I know,
Wow.
disturbing.
Disgusting.
I feel dirty. I need to have a shower in Greece or something to feel myself again. I don't even know why Greece. It was only what
Why
came
Greece?
to mind. I don't know.
Specifically,
I have a
Greece.
limited
Hentai,
vocabulary.
anything. Greece.
No, but I want to talk about bring a short comment about 2 movies I watched this week in cinema, which are both not my media. So just a short one-liner comment. I went with my sister, as it is tradition, to the cinema, and we watched X-Men: Dark Phoenix. And I don't know why people shit on it. I mean, yes, it's not the second coming of Endgame, but well, nothing is. So.
I think they were just expecting with this being, it was advertised as this clean slate. I mean, what was the last X-Men character movie that came out? Which wasn't it Logan?
Oh wait,
because
because it's just that's what you mean with character movie. I saw
it's not an ensemble movie. There is a main X-Men character in Dark Phoenix, right?
Yeah, I guess, but it's still in the continuity of in the continuity of the previous run with I don't know. What's the name of this Patrick Stewart, the Split guy? The Split guy with Patrick Split.
Xavier?
Yeah.
Xavier.
Okay, I was about to say the Split guy. He's the wheelchair man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but
he's the dude in the wheelchair.
But he plays.
You're describing Two-Face.
No, but he plays the guy in Split. Probably his name is McCovey.
Oh no, okay.
McIvy.
I know who you're talking
Magneto.
about now. No. He's
McAvoy.
Oh.
Odie spelled something out in the chat. But yeah, this actor, not Patrick Stewart.
James McAvoy.
Yeah, McAvoy, not Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. In this run, in the McAvoy run, it is the next one in the continuity. It builds on pretty much the stuff from Apocalypse, and it wasn't the greatest, but I found it a lot better than the last incarnation of Dark Phoenix back in the Stewart age. So I had a good time. It was. Yeah, not significantly worse or better than any other X-Men movie.
You also like the Illumination Grinch, which me and Brad Jones have come to the conclusion you don't have taste.
Well, I mean, even Cell Specs called it the best what has Illumination produced so far, besides the singing performance in Sing.
What is the bar here?
I know, but
hold on, let me touch the ground.
I mean, I get it. That what you and Brett are criticizing is that it does not incorporate the spirit of the Grinch, which can very much be the case because I did not grow up on the Grinch because I'm not American. It's just the same.
Anyways, the second movie.
The second movie, which I watched today, was sadly in a far too empty theater. Then again, it was a noon screening, 2D.
Oh, the one you're going to talk about tomorrow.
Very nice weather, exactly. But now is tomorrow, and yeah. So X-Men. No, the other man, the Man in Black. The Man in Black.
Was it?
What the fuck is that in the chat?
I'm not entirely sure either.
Arg, rigid as a pine plank, I am boarding upon these ships, scallywag, sailing the seas of mediocrity on Twitch TV. So I have bequeathed to follow upon thee. May God bless your travels on these tumultuous seas of Twitch TV. Peace.
Getting on Discord to call in WTF, no voice channel. Lol.
Well,
okay, cool. But anyway, what did you went to go
Man
see?
in Black International.
Oh, okay. So Ragnarok, but less charm.
Yes, basically, because that's the point. You have Chris Hemsworth, who basically is Thor with his goofiness on everything. And you also have post sober up Valkyr. And wait 1 second.
It's their job, so they can have. So the new Asgard has a budget to live.
Yeah, I get. After seeing Endgame, that kind of makes sense.
But yeah, it's basically.
Yeah.
Asgard kind of just. Okay, are we able to spoil Endgame at this point? It's been
out for like 2.5 months. As long as look, the only caveat of Endgame spoilers is when this new re-release comes out, don't spoil the deleted scenes that are going to be in it.
Okay.
But yes.
So Asgard kind of it kind of downgraded from the big godlike beings that they had, the technological utopia. It's kind of like a fishing village now, you know?
It's the village that Aquaman comes from in Justice League. Like, it looks exactly like it.
Oh my God! Are you trying to tell me that the DC extended universe grows out of Marvel's Endgame?
Yes. Hi, welcome to Film Fury. I'm Matt Pat.
Please no. Please
is
no.
Aquaman an Asgardian? Did the other half of Asgard not really die in Infinity War, but instead went into the sea and became Atlanteans? Is Ness from Undertale?
Well, and we just found out that Men in Black is basically the glue that keeps the MCU and the DCEU together and unites them.
Wait, that means Will Smith is in the MCU and the DCU. He's already in the DCU.
Wait, so he quit his daytime job as a Man in Black and turned into Deathstroke?
That actually can make sense. I don't like this.
I mean,
Tell us more of your opinions on Men in Black International.
He was the best of the best, and now he is the best sharpshooter.
You know what? Does this say something about Men in Black International that we went into this weird infinity theory thing?
I don't know. It probably says that I'm the only one who has seen it yet, and therefore you guys look for references in other movies.
Exactly. Anyway, what's your opinion?
My opinion, first of all, yes, the dynamic between the main characters is very reminiscent of Thor and Valkyr, which is fun because, hey, they have a good chemistry, they are fun together. It is not as much of a firework as Ragnarok was. No surprise there, I guess. It's in the... But it's more in the... it takes place in the universe of the Men in Black, and that's what we get. We get this usual goofiness, and how we get there we have with, I call her now Valkyr. Oh no, I know that her name is Agent M, so that's easy. We have with Agent M an actual person who newly enters the Men in Black.
Oh no, it's just funny that her name is Agent M because that was actually a joke in Men in Black 2.
Oh yeah, I am. Could I be Agent M?
Michael Jackson's weird ass cameo.
But then again, it's just.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
no one remembers.
I haven't seen Men in Black 2 in. I think it's been like 10 years, something like that.
That was the one with the worm lady, wasn't it?
Yes, it was the one with.
Yeah.
And it ends with. It starts out the movie with being like, oh yeah, the girl who gets built up to become a Men in Black agent at the end of Men in Black 1.
Oh yeah, it's just
off screen.
Yeah, he just blitz thingied her, flash thingied her and dumped her somewhere. That was lovely anticlimactic. Yeah, and the third one was with time travel and the bitey guy. But yeah. No, international, more Men in Black fun, I would say. It was not it was good. It felt, I'm not sure, since I watched the first Men in Black and it was ages ago, so probably nostalgia and whatnot plays into it, so I cannot say if it's a valid or a worthy successor in modern times. And the only thing that really bothered me about the movie was that they had this basically pointless little side character. which comic relief, like a tiny comic relief character which was for the most of it didn't fit into it. It was
like
kind of
tiny as in small role or tiny as in a tiny alien. Okay.
Tiny alien. Yeah, they have a tiny alien which is basically like the Puck from the first movie, but it's constantly there. It doesn't go away, and it's just they seem to care about it, even so there is no reason why, except for, this is our marketable comic relief character we need to have on screen all the time, so that's a little kid.
I've always wondered why movies in general tend to include these sort of comic relief characters that no one really ends up liking, but they keep doing it.
Yes.
Here's the reason.
Doing it.
Here's the reason, I think, and it's like, I think it's more the style of how they are rather than no one likes them. Notice how all these characters make jokes that either don't fit with the timeline the movie actually is, or no one responds to them except for maybe giving them a weird look once in a while, but everything they say is inconsequential and can be cut from the movie.
Right.
It was caused by Genie. Because Genie makes all the pop culture references, and notice no one in Aladdin actually responds to him. But like Robin Williams is charming and likable, so no one cares.
Yeah.
But every movie after that didn't care.
This character is not like it. Weirdly enough, he interacts very strongly with the cast. I just realized myself that he cannot be the fun character for the little kids because he gets introduced with talking about killing himself. This for kids.
Spicy.
They carry him literally around, and they are always like, oh no, people die left and right because it's a Man in Black movie, but they are like, oh no, not you. We need to save you and keep you with us for reasons. And it doesn't fit. They just pick him up, and he also doesn't make pop culture references. It's just like they pick him up and are like, okay, we keep you. Like literally, like, oh, it's a puppy, can I keep it? Like, they keep him, and they carry them with him, and, no, he doesn't play. I wonder, like, does he play a role? But at some point, he is a distraction, but it probably could have been cut as well.
Right.
How sad that he's played by Academy Award nominated actor Kumail Nanjiani, who's also Prismo in Adventure Time, so he can be funny.
We are talking Poe, right?
Yeah, the tiny alien.
Pony.
That's just sad.
Anyways, this wasn't supposed to be media talk. I just want to be like, hey, that's also a fun movie worth watching. It's basically Thor Ragnarok, very light, meets original Man in Black.
Okay.
It was fun. It had a little bit of the magic of the original Man in Black. So good stuff. Not one where, not a must see, but happy fun time.
Like a rent on Netflix, watch on Netflix when it goes on, it kind of thing.
I mean, it could also be nice on the big screen. But yeah, if you have a few bucks ready and want to see something entertaining on the big screen, it's good. It's fine.
That's sort
Keyframe. Also, yeah.
Oh, what? No, what were you going to say, Woot?
That's sort of my general opinion on that new Aladdin movie that came out.
I still want to see it.
It's good fun in the theater, but
you wouldn't buy it.
It has its moments. I'll give it that.
Is it enough of a spectacle piece when they use the CGI that it's like, this is definitively better on the big screen? Because I saw some of the action scenes and the musical sequences in the trailer, so I'm like, that's usually what distincts me from going to the cinema or not, because the cinema has the experience of making things larger than life if it indicates it. Like, I don't go to see Green Book in theaters.
Right.
I would say, very funny movie.
Recommend. If you go to see it, go see it in the cinema, because I assume you know the story of Aladdin, right?
It's the one with the girl in the small French town that meets when Emma Watson goes to meet the slightly CGI'd character, right?
No, not that. I will say it's a lot better. The Aladdin live action movie is leagues better than what they did with Beauty and the Beast.
Oh,
I will say that.
So the actors are somewhat alive during the movie?
Yes, they they do They do manage to pull it off pretty well. The actor for Aladdin and Jasmine, they have some chemistry. Mm-hmm. There were some weird moments. I didn't really like the actor for Jafar. He seemed a bit...
You're part of the majority there, buddy. No one likes him.
Yeah. He seemed kind of flat, I think, would be a charitable description of his portrayal. But other than that, it's a fine theater movie. I went to see it with my mother and grandma for free because our old realtor friend was having like a little get together, and so we went and saw that. But it's a fun little thing to go with friends, I'd say.
Yeah. All I've heard besides the good things that there are or people being surprised that it's decent, was that they were like, yeah, the only thing that feels completely wasted is Iago, because they got Alan Tudyk to play him, and if you don't know who Alan Tudyk is, how dare you? He's super funny. Go watch I keep forgetting the names of the characters, but it's Versus Evil. We saw it on Netflix. What's its name?
Yes, Tucker versus the forces of
Tucker
evil.
And someone else versus evil. Amazing movie. Mm-hmm. And also he's Wesselton and Weaselton in he does a lot of Disney stuff, and he's King Candy in Wreck-It Ralph. Yeah. He's a great actor.
He's a pilot in Firefly, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. He's a great actor. He's funny as hell. Perfect. That's not Gilbert to play Iago. Yeah, and apparently all he does is talk like an actual parrot, and it's like
that's
wasn't that like
pretty much what happens.
Gag at the beginning of the movie in the original movie, and then you realize he's a completely sapient, smart beast. But anyway, my week, and it's very media filled too. So that was the media is the only. Welcome to the media cast. Also, because it's the 99th episode, I'm celebrating. I have adult grape juice in a martini glass because all my wine glasses are dirty.
Fair. Also, I just found this image. It was very fitting to what you just said.
Nice, but because I caved this week and bought a Hulu subscription. One, because there were certain shows that aren't on there, like a lot of Adult Swim shows aren't on there, and I know that Final Space is finally on.
Oh, then the second season.
The second season premieres this week on the 24th, but Final Space's second season is going to air on Adult Swim. Like, it moved from TBS to Adult Swim, and both TBS and Adult Swim are on Hulu. So, and Final Space is one of the shows I want to support by watching it officially, so seeing it on a streaming service makes sense. And so I finally caved and got it, and I've been just nonstop watching things. Some of them guilty pleasures, some of them shows that I haven't watched fully in years. And also, I'll give Hulu this. I could actually watch it and work because for some reason Netflix slows down my entire browser. And I don't know why. My computer is a fucking powerhouse, but Netflix destroys everything. I have to watch Netflix in the living room. Maybe Netflix knows I work too much and is making me take breaks.
It's watching out for you. It knows.
It's the self-care person. Hulu's the enabler. But
it's stormy
are you okay?
outside.
Oh okay. No. Well, if you die,
I didn't even realize it until I looked outside, and it's just pouring rain.
Oh, nice. You can't hear it.
You don't
Your
see it.
Really
you don't see it because it's like the brightness of the sunlight is coming in from this angle.
Oh man, it's like a blizzard because people think blizzards are stormy, but because of the snow, it's like blinding light because it's reflecting everything. Right. But no, I watched a lot of media this week, which is very rare because I'm a very like work-orientated person, so I mostly put on podcasts in the background. But so I've been rewatching shows like Harvey Birdman and Moral Oral, and it just reminded me, God, that era of Adult Swim is so good. Like, Harvey Birdman is one of the funniest fucking shows that's ever aired on that network. Because, I mean, it's a show that caters to me because it's an adult interpretation of a bunch of Hanna-Barbera shit. For people who don't know what Harvey Birdman is, it's a Birdman from the original 60s cartoon as a lawyer whose boss is Steve Colbert, who is a defense attorney for a bunch of Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And it's so, like, one episode has Fred Flintstone as a soprano, basically The Godfather. It's a whole parody of The Godfather. Then another episode is Shaggy and Scooby get arrested on a weed charge, and it's amazing. I'm gonna talk about that one. But the fucking Scooby episode is great because whenever they have to say hi, like getting high, you see a character pass by saying the word hi with an HI instead. So, and it has some of the one best line where it's like, wait, so they're not high? And then Fred, who's voiced by the original actor, all of them are voiced by the official actors for their respective shows, are just like, no, they're just stupid. But the best scene from this entire show is from the Jetsons one. Because the Jetsons act like they're from the future, but everything is still past. Like they have Betamax tapes and everything. And they're like, no, we're from the future. The far off year of 2002. And then Harvey looks at his calendar on his desk and it says 2004. That is a joke that gets better with time. And then I've been watching Moral Orel, and I've talked about this show a lot. I will still say this. Moral Orel is a better written show than Rick and Morty. It is a smarter show than Rick and Morty, and the fans of Moral Orel are not as up in their ass as Rick and Morty fans. It is both, in the first season, it's a very funny deconstruction of Christian fundamentalism, and then season 2 onwards actually becomes a very smart drama about it. And I love it, but watching the show makes me angry simply because I want it to continue. And they did have an idea for 2 extra seasons, and season 3 is cut down in half, so 2.5 seasons. But fucking Mike Lazo, a person who should not be working as a CEO, basically canceled the show because they did what they asked him to, because they were like, hey, make this show darker. And then they did, and then they didn't like it because they were like, oh, you're torturing Orel. Because Mike Lazo really loves the character. So they wanted to move back to season 1. But then Dino, the creator, is like, no, we're actually telling great stories. So they're in a constant fight. So the show got canned or on permanent hiatus. And apparently Dino still has all the sets in his apartment. And it's like, this just makes me sad. But then Dino went to make Anomalisa, and that got nominated for an Oscar. But by the way, I watched Anomalisa. Go watch it. It's an R-rated stop-motion film, and it's amazing. But I'm going to move on to my actual media because...
Oh, boy.
I watched a lot of other things. I watched season 2 of Agretsuko, and I don't have a lot to say about it that I haven't said on Twitter. It's good, but not as good as season 1, because I feel like after the first arc that they had and halfway through the season... First of all, the season was too short. Second of all, the second arc that they had, like the relationship arc, I felt like I was watching a slightly better version of the arc that they already did in season 1. And I'm just kind of tired of Agretsuko focusing on love life. I feel like the arc that she should go through and the more poignant arc is actually focusing on friendships, because she treats kind of her friends like crap. In the sense that she doesn't actually incorporate them into her casual life. And I feel like that's one of her biggest flaws, is that she's so hyper-focused on a romantic relationship that she doesn't consider other ones, because she doesn't exactly have a good relationship with her mom, so it's not like familial ones are very important to her. I don't know. The second season actually pointed out the whole thing of you have to remember that this is an anime, so a lot of the culture stuff actually does revolve around what Japanese culture is and what the social norms are. So that was actually a very big drop-off point where it's like, okay, I have to remember where the show comes from, because the first season had way more relatability.
You are not so you're saying you're not weeb enough for it.
I'm not. Yes, I'm not enough socioeconomic weeb for it, but I still liked it. It was entertaining. I watched the full thing in one big binge session, so whatever. But my actual media.
We still after Harvey Birdman on Nora.
I could say as many medias up to 7 because you established the precedent. So shut up. We're talking about Beetlejuice the musical. No. Wait, Wooten, come back. Okay.
Turn on the light, because it's actually getting pretty dark outside.
Is that the video
so I can't use the...
No, it's not the video you link, because the video you link does not play in Germany.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Don't you have a VPN?
If I would turn on the VPN, we would not be able to stream properly in Germany.
Well, okay. I'll put a link in the description.
I do.
This doesn't do it justice. Though the sceneries that they show in this are amazing too. It was actually nominated for a Tony for scenic design and lost to it. The Hadestown, which only has one set the entire play, fucking robbed. But no, I'm talking about Beetlejuice the musical and by proxy the movie, because I rewatched the movie after listening to the entire musical album. Holy shit, I think I found a new favorite musical that beats Hamilton.
Oh boy, that's a thing to say.
Wow.
Hamilton still, I think, has more lyrical charm. But for being an adaptation and a musical that actually has talking in between, because that's the one thing. Hamilton succeeds in that there's no actual talking scenes in between the movie, the performance. So you can listen to the whole album and actually get the basic experience you would get in the theater. Beetlejuice succeeds that in that every performance is different because they let the main actor, Beetlejuice himself, improv and change lyrics to the song. Like every time they've done a live performance of the opening number, they've changed the lyrics. So, which I think is something more musicals should do, which is why I feel like there needs to be more comedies on Broadway. Which I think is looked down upon because, musical people and theater people are pretentious. I'm just going to say that. 90% of them are pretentious and they don't respect comedies as much as they should. But, and I think that's also why Beetlejuice lost a lot of their Tonys, because it's an adaptation and they look down on that too, which I hate. I'm part of communities that people don't respect. Animation, the Academy doesn't respect it. Musical adaptations, the Tonys don't respect it. No one respects me.
Artist also doesn't get respected.
Oh yeah, thanks Elon, but no, fucking
furries.
Furries. Thanks everyone.
Bronies.
And most anime fans. Thanks furries.
And worst of them all, Scooby-Doo fan.
Okay, no one respects that.
Exactly, my point. But
no one respects Hanna-Barbera. That's the reason we're getting an R-rated Banana Splits movie on the Sci-Fi Channel. That's basically a Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Anyway, Beetlejuice. It's a musical.
Don't say it 2 more times.
It's a musical adaptation of Beetlejuice, and I rewatched the movie. I will stand by this. I think the movie Beetlejuice. No, here's the thing. Beetlejuice's name must be said 3 times uninterrupted in succession. So yeah, but no, I think Beetlejuice is the best Tim Burton movie he's ever made. I think it's better than Batman, and I think it's better than 90% of the stuff he's made in the modern generation. It has the best acting. I think it's better. I think Michael Keaton performs the role of Beetlejuice better than how he performed Batman. And he performed Batman really good, so I'm just saying. And also, before people say, what about Nightmare Before Christmas? He made the story, he didn't direct it. I'm saying as a director. So fight me. 1v1 me, Scrub Lord, I'm ripped.
But no, yeah, for Batman, he had to tone down his Tim Burtonness, so yeah.
I know, but still, I'm just saying.
I'm confirming.
I think Beetlejuice shows more of his chops, but then again, that was when he was still in the era of Mr. Mom, Michael Keaton. So it was during that time where people were like, Michael Keaton as Batman, how could he be good at that? Basically what Ben Affleck had to go through.
Michael Keaton is Batman.
And it's like what Ben Affleck had to go through and what Robert Pattinson is going through right now. So, the musical adaptation is amazing. The person who plays the main character is Alex Brightman. I know his last name is Brightman, but I always get his first name wrong. Who also played Jack Black's character in The School of Rock. Adaptation. he's like the next Nathan Lane in that he has such a fucking range. The song I want to link is the opening number called The Whole Being Dead Thing, where he does like 7 voices throughout the entire song. And
Wow.
and he has to sing. You people know what Beetlejuice, he sounds like this. He sings in that voice. And they even say in the opening number, I have to do this bullshit 8 times a week. Like, he sings in that consistently and then changes his voice throughout it, which I think, Broadway, you're walking around and jumping on stage. In the Tony performance, he's running down the aisle and running up the stage while still consistently staying in character. And in the same breath, threatens to kill Tom Hanks and then tells the guy who plays Kylo Ren that he killed Han Solo and that's not cool. Like, he has such fucking charisma.
Oh my God.
He is one of the most charismatic, amazing actors that I've ever seen on Broadway. In that, and he can improv off his feet. He's perfect. And he only just started out. I think he first started in the Matilda, which only came out in 2014, 2013, and then School of Rock, and now this. And he got nominated for School of Rock, and he got nominated for Beetlejuice. He didn't win Beetlejuice. And you know what year School of Rock came out? The same year Hamilton came out, so no one was winning awards that season. But I really recommend people listen to the album. Every singer on there is great. They actually do a full cast performance of Deo from the scene in the movie, which is amazing. And every song kind of has its own flavor. The person who plays Lydia is an amazing singer. She kind of sounds like a higher pitched Janis Joplin, which is such a non-Broadway sounding voice. And it's amazing. And adaptations are hard to do. I'm not a fan of the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory musical. I think it's kind of eh. School of Rock is good. Matilda is good. And then this one, and I think it's the best one out of all of them. And it looks amazing. They actually put effort into making everything look like Tim Burton. In the Tony performance, a giant snake comes out and takes one of the ensemble members, as a moving, inflated puppet. It's so good. It's actually a performance that I'm it's or something, make an effort to go see it. And I don't say that about a lot of theater performances. I'm saying, I know it would be tempting to watch the bootleg, but don't. I think that's that's the bit. And this is someone who actually unabashedly watched the Hamilton bootleg. You need to watch it in person. There's no other way. So yeah, that's my media. I think that was actually one of the few times I've made a justified musical media where people I'm interested.
That was a very justified media, I'd say.
Also, look at it. The pictures look so much fun. Look at all that.
I know, right? Yeah. I love the sets.
He actually does talk a lot in the actual performances. I've seen clips of the actual talking scenes. He's just as talkative and chatty as Michael Keaton was. In that stage of the 80s and 90s where every character was a fast-talking kind of character. Yeah, but, that's my media. Wuten, I want you to explain why you brought this here today.
that is a fair
so
demand.
To move on from Keyframe's wonderful description of this, of her media, we're going to move on to my media. And let me just say, I hope you guys like chicken nuggets.
I just... I've seen this girl's full channel. Is this her actual speaking voice? Because she seems to talk very casually in it.
I don't know.
Is it a blessing or a curse? If it is the question.
Now, as a follow-up to that, I want to show you the original. The original from 2006. Now, this was an actual commercial.
Oof. This is a pretty brutal commercial.
The QuickTime player that is on is amazing too.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh my Lord Christ.
I cannot remember that commercials looked that trashy in 2006.
Well, it's also probably a local commercial, which just adds to the Tim and Eric show public access quality.
The thing is, so this was recorded in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
It became an actual, like, national McDonald's commercial in 2008. That's the original post. That channel is the original post of, I think, the beatboxing guy on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
So
like that one was like beginning of YouTube, people still using E-Bombs World era, and then McDonald's themselves took it.
McDonald's themselves used that as a commercial in 2008.
I hope they played. They paid them up.
I wonder if you guys like.
I'm intrigued.
McNuggets?
That's my thing. Like, that seems like the best use of using a meme for like a corporation, besides maybe the Wendy's anime girl, because that one is just like full unabashed. It's not like that other Wendy's commercial where they had the impact font like memer guy eating a chicken sandwich.
Yeah. This itself, I think, is one of the best commercials they've done. Honestly, I like this one completely unironically.
I love it.
So good.
It makes me think of just to talk about crappy local commercials.
Right.
There was one that I remember from Indiana, and the thing is, I can't find it anywhere. It was for Labor Day, and it just has a girl going through painful labor, and then it just fades to white. It says, "Every kind of labor is important. Happy Labor Day." The thing was, it was just an uncut scene of this woman screaming in pain, and then it fades to white, says that, and then you just hear a baby crying, and I'm just sitting there like, what? You had all the power in the world and you make this?
Just imagine,
Thanks, Indiana.
Imagine what the budget for that commercial was.
Maybe a chicken sandwich from Wendy's. Like they bribed the public access channel with like the guy being like, look.
Apparently you like
$50 McDonald's chicken McNuggets.
Apparently
$50 50 nuggets.
You really do like chicken nuggets. So here's the deal.
They paid these people in a lifetime supply, so they have like a card, like the black card at Disney, and it's just like they go in there, whip it out, and they just get whatever they want from the menu. It's like, you guys are the McNugget wrap guys.
Oh my god. I wonder if they get stopped on the street. That'd be interesting.
I feel like in their hometown.
Maybe.
Yeah, in their hometown and whatnot.
You drive into their hometown, the welcome to sign says home of the McNugget wrappers.
I mean, 2.5 million views.
Hope y'all like nuggies.
Nuggy Town.
Nuggy Town.
I need to look up if there's a Nugget Town. Come on.
McDonald's Nuggets by Fernando Sosa and Thomas Middleditch. Oh boy, what did she find?
There's a town called Nugget City.
Oh no.
Oh,
there's a town?
My god.
Oh no, okay, no. There's a...
Oh my god. Oh no, he does. Okay. Fernando nowadays, so the beatboxer does stand-up in LA, but it's just today he does stand-up in LA, so we do not know where he comes from. Unless it's...
Can we get him on the podcast?
Maybe. Oh yeah, there he is. There he is.
Joe drinks water.
Mexican boy Prince.
I mean, he's honest. You brought more to this. You brought more to this media section than I thought you would. Kudos, Wuten. Yeah. But you know,
you thought it was just McNuggets.
You brought a 24-second audio clip. We didn't expect much, but just like you brought a punch. Anyways, Max.
One media remaining, and my media today is kind of special at something. Oh no, we had something similar before on the show, but it's still special. It's my first time with you, Wuten, and you, Keyframe. I brought a book.
Oh no! Is this God damn it! This book. Okay, now I don't feel bad for walking out for a second. Go and talk about your terrible book.
It is terrible. It is really not good.
This is why I don't read.
Says the man who literally does read fan fiction as a job. I don't know.
The guy who does audio plays of fan fiction.
Exactly.
Doesn't read.
But yeah, this is a sad thing. With a fan fiction, I can sit down and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, this is bad writing, whatever. This guy is just learning. Maybe the rest of the story is good. Maybe not. But here's the thing about the good Nora Roberts. something I really wanna make clear. So you see, wait, let me see that I get it at an angle where it's visible. You see all those lines on those 2 pages.
Yeah.
Those are titles of books she has written.
Quantity doesn't equal quality.
You see the lines of those 2 pages, all of them, every single line with multiple columns. Every single one stands for a book this lady has written. You see the lines on still this 1/2 page here, this side here. More books this woman has written over 200 books. And
I don't think she's left her chair in like the amount of years she's been writing. I think she just
count. The thing is 200 books.
That's not
quantify that in days. Just days spent writing.
I can't look. It takes me days to weeks to finish one picture. How the hell does she write 200 books?
I mean, let's check out. And she doesn't look that old.
Think of it this way.
What's her name?
Nora
Roberts.
Can I make this visible for people to
She's 68 years old.
There she is.
Okay, so 68.
Yeah. And, okay.
Let's do
She's been writing since her first published book was like in 1981.
And she is a #1 New York Times bestseller. So we see
again a bunch of YouTubers are New York Times bestsellers. That doesn't say quality.
No, it doesn't. New York Times bestseller is once again quantity over quality, I assume.
It's like
you said it was 1981?
Yes.
Okay, so she's been writing for 38 years. In 38 years, she's written over 200 books. So we'll just say 200.
Fair.
So 38 divided by 200, 200 divided by 38 rather. That is roughly 5 books a year. Now, quantifying that is about 1 book for 38 years consistently. 1 book every 5 months. Or every 2 months, no.
No, 5, you said 5 per year, so yeah, a little bit over 2 months.
Yeah, 5 per year, that's about 1 book every 2 months.
Yeah, taking vacations every now and then.
So 2 books, like 5 to 6 books a year. So
she releases things, but she releases things at the same frequency, if not more, than like the 2 Scooby films a year they've
Now, 2 months for, on average, is about 60 days. 60 days, that is, that's about 8 weeks. 7.5 weeks worth of work weeks. If you're writing for 40 hours a week, that's about
many. I want to show you. Okay. I found a PDF of her book releases. Look how many books she released in 1983 and 1984 alone.
Okay, let's see.
Right, 1980. Oh my God.
I think this says more about quantity over quality than anything.
But you would think that after so long, here's the thing, you would think that after so much, she eventually would pick up some skill, wouldn't you? Now here's the thing, God, I'm still scrolling.
It stops at 2016.
Oh, okay, because year 1 is actually rather recent, I believe.
Yes, but this PDF is dated in 2016, so it doesn't account for what's in 2017 through 19.
But yeah, to give just a few highlights of what Nora Roberts, after a new book for 36 years every 2 months, has achieved. So the story is basically a run-of-the-mill post-apocalypse story, post-apocalypse/fantasy story. Which, in and of itself, I would say, so it borrows tropes from both ends, which is like, okay, neutral. So far, I'm neutral. I'm not like, oh, this genre screams innovation, but it's like run-of-the-mill setup, setting and stuff is not a deal breaker right away, but standing on itself. But yeah, then her writing is just like, sometimes I didn't even know who was talking. It's like, I literally did not know who was talking. It was like a paragraph, like, you know the rules, like when a person talks, they have a paragraph, they have some indicator within the paragraph that they are talking. Then when there's a new paragraph, usually another person talks. But then there was one paragraph in between where something happened, like one line, they went out on the street, and the next paragraph somebody speaks again in first person talk and in direct language, and I'm like, it was so ambiguous. I couldn't tell who of the two characters was talking.
I had to read part of this book. Like me and Max were going to see Us at late at night, and we stopped at a bar that was near the theater, and he had this book in his bag, and he was talking about it, and he was like, here, I want you to read part of it while I'm in the bathroom or whatever.
And
I'm
yes, she is.
I'm a speed reader. I grew up learning how to read fast.
I never did, which is very sad.
I never hated being this talent more than this book, because I read a good chunk of it, and when he came back, I just was like, why do you hurt me? What did I do to you?
Why are you like this?
Not even why are you like this. I'm like, you knew how bad this book is, and you gave it to your best friend. Why? What did I do?
I'm a sadist. But yes, fucking...
I'm a masochist. It doesn't change how bad it is.
It's true. Fucking unnatural dialogue, so people do not talk like people. And then something you did not get to experience, Keyframe. This is something I suffered by myself.
Good.
Is there a sex scene?
Yes. A god of... No, the sex scene was actually very like, oh, they united, they felt the warmth inside them, yada, yada, yada.
Like that.
That's such
they fucked.
That's such an old person way to say they fucked.
I mean,
they united.
They were in the throes.
She's nearly 70. So, but yeah, god awful pacing. The pacing. So the first. Oh no, he's running off. Anyway, the first.
I'm here. I'm just closing.
The first chapter is in meticulous detail description of this dude, his family, his traditions, his past,
killing
his
a bird
nephews.
and having a drop of blood land on this.
On the first page, it's established that he's going to die. It's complete waste. This is the entire first 2 chapters are complete waste of time. It has an impact for the story because it is where everything happens. He's basically triggering the apocalypse that kickstarts the entire rest of the book. But everything about him, his family, his tradition, what he does, all of it is complete waste of time. Has no relevance for the remainder of the book. It's bullshit. It's like a waste of time. So then we cut to our actual protagonists who are still alive. The news
lady,
the news lady, and the witch, and their people around them. Also ingenious. So the news lady has a fairy with her. This is the fantasy. This lady has never written fantasy. You can tell. She is just like some characters are fantasy archetypes. So there is this one person who is like, because suddenly magic. That's basically the apocalypse. Nearly everybody dies, and the remainder and and a big chunk of the surviving people suddenly have magic. And they don't just suddenly have magic and tap into the same pool. No, some of them through this apocalypse transform into a witch. She was practicing witchery before, so that was kind of fine. A fairy. She is just a fairy and can spread rings. Oh, I'm a fairy. Like,
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but without reason. And she knows she's a fairy, and there are other fairies around. But she is like, I am a fairy. Like, she intuitively knows, I am a fairy now. Look at me, I'm a fairy. Then we have elves who are just like, oh, I used to be a normal human. Now I'm an elf. Like, okay, that's how fantasy works, I guess. And then we have this character who has a ability, like to just feel, to see the future of people.
Oh
feel
yeah,
it.
here's the thing about it. The lore of this fucking thing is that some people have damn superpower. Okay, because the apocalypse is a disease that kills people, but some people who have this disease also have superpowers.
It unlocks magic. Yeah, they make it very clear that it's magic and fantasy.
Keyframe, calling it lore. Calling it lore, I think is quite
I'm sorry.
generous.
But I'm going to let Max go back to this. Though I have one from the chapters that I read, because I read like 2. I have one thing to describe this person's writing style. I hope just in this book, because if this person's been writing for over 20 years with bestsellers of each of her books, and she writes like this, you can't say adults are wiser than normal people.
And you cannot say that fan fiction is inherently inferior.
Yes, anyway, continue.
Yes, so we have those 2 groups we follow in the beginning, and it's like after this stretch of establishment of characters who are irrelevant to the story, and this lore part where she goes through details how a drop of blood gets somewhere and yada, but it never gets explained anyways. It just happens, and you there is a lot of tropes happening and cliche stuff, and therefore it is important. Anyway, two groups of characters. Suddenly we go into not real time but very meticulous, like at the same day stuff is happening and whatnot. Then we follow the one group leaving New York, and then we switch back to the other group and they're still stuck in the previous day. Like, how can you fuck up the chronology when you have 2 groups in 2 days? Then she starts jumping time-wise, like, whoop, suddenly we are 2 months in the future. Let's have 2 characters have a very awkward exposition conversation to establish all the things that happen in between and introduce all the new characters. It's like the time jumps in
it, but less good.
Yeah, it's horrible time jumps. It's absolutely horrible. And then the absolute, I thought I was done with how bad it is. So suddenly, like probably on the last quarter or so, they suddenly are in a village. They are in a village suddenly. Like, okay, they did a giant time jump. They established this village. Once again, like the deja vu of the first chapter. Also spoilers, but XSplit is actually broken at the moment, so I'm just happy that the show is still running. I cannot put up spoiler warning, but actually this book is shit. Don't read it, unless for self-torture, I don't know.
Club.
So, they suddenly are in this village they found, which was completely empty, which doesn't make sense. What happened to the survivors? There are survivors from the plague. Anyways, they find this town, they establish town life, they establish how they come up with, we need to come up with laws, and we create a community. And I was like, okay, fine, we are spending the last 5 chapters setting up the setting for the sequel, because it's a trilogy. It's the first part of a trilogy because it is. Also, we are in June at this point. Read the title. Year 1, and we are in June at the last.
That's not even. It's the first 6 months.
I know. And,
what?
And I was like, okay, first of all, how is this? And they established that there are first people who are prejudiced, that there's some crazy preach on the airwaves calling for basically a crusade against all magical beings, the usual stuff you would expect from this kind of crap. Mm-hmm. And then they establish rules, and they get a sheriff in their town, and then suddenly at their Independence Day, of course, at their Independence Day celebration, which is now their village survival whatever festival, they get raided. What? The entire village, and we just follow one surviving character, or not surviving, we are following one character who flees from the village because they're actually after her, because she's pregnant, because her baby is the one. Because of course there is.
Because of course.
Of course there needs to be a
It's like the end of the first Maze Runner movie where they finally get out, they get to the settlement, and suddenly like a helicopter comes and shoots everyone.
Which is still better. Because they cram the remaining 5 months with only this one character. We don't even know who survived. From all the other dozens of characters we got to know, she's the only one we are following now. We don't know who survived the raid on the village. We follow her for the remainder of the year. In 4 or 5 chapters.
Right.
And complete spoiler, but fuck it. It's the first part of the trilogy.
Who cares? This book's
exactly.
Shit.
She runs into one guy, falls in love with him, and basically marries him at the end of the book. And And we don't
Of course, the apocalypse happens. They start a new settlement, create laws. The sanctity of marriage has to be part of it.
But now,
this
entire
me as a fan fiction reader.
This entire roller coaster. Let me tell you, this was in fact a roller coaster just by the summary. But this roller coaster has made me less worried about the inconsistencies of lore in my Dungeons and Dragons game. Because Narrator might be the size of Belgium based on the travel times between two cities, based on the map that we created. And that was not intentional, but at least it isn't whatever this is.
Fucking Curse of Strahd, the 5e campaign that is known for basically being Minecraft open world, has better fucking lore and consistency than that, as someone who played Curse of Strahd for 2.5 years. But, like...
The insults get stronger.
Let me say, as someone who read only the first 2 chapters, and obviously my criticisms are valid given Max's description, BTW, I want a series where Max reads shitty books and gives descriptions of them on YouTube.
That'd be pretty great. That'd be pretty great. I'd enjoy that.
Good job. Good job.
Shit. But yeah.
No, like, here's the thing that makes me so annoyed with this series. As someone who reads fanfics and someone who narrates
There's
fanfics,
still more coming, but please continue.
Yeah. Bad fan fiction and bad stories, like bad English 101 pieces that people have to do, suffer from over description. Because it's very easy to do that when you're a beginning writer, because the written medium is based off painting a picture and helping the audience visualize what's going on. It doesn't have the benefit of show don't tell. The entire medium is tell. However, you should be able to do that through organic dialogue. I've seen Zootopia YIF fics with more organic dialogue than this book.
The dialogue is god-awful, yes.
But also, reading the first 2 chapters, specifically the newscaster introduction and the beginning of the thing that apparently sets up the apocalypse, everything was so overtly descriptive in ways that there's fine with having good intricate descriptions. Like, my example would actually be the Changeling Queen fanfiction I read for Halloween years back, which I still get comments on, which is surprising. They keep asking for a sequel. Is there a sequel? I don't know. But
she dies. Oh no! Wait, I remember now the ending.
Twilight becomes the new Changeling.
Spoilers.
Point is, they give a very intricate description of Chrysalis's death and the description of what the Changeling Hive is, and that's good. That is perfectly fine and well, and that's how you paint a good picture. This place paints pictures of just random dancing and how they hunt, how long they've been hunting, which becomes so inconsequential because you never see it again. If they actually establish from what you said, the entire first chapter is bupkis because they don't explain why the apocalypse happens. Yeah. If they had it in the story that the main character lady goes back to the original place and then it kind of does the time jump things to show parallels between what the present is, finding out why, and that is smart writing.
Maybe book 2 or 3.
Here's the excuse, though.
This is no excuse.
Which is my reasoning for movies, movie trilogies. Don't use the excuse that you're going to explain it in the next movie, which half the time, or next season, which half the time doesn't get greenlit by the time the first movie is finished because they check the box office numbers. To explain things that you should have explained. Don't save all your important lore shit for the end of the book or the very beginning. Set up this expectation and then do nothing with it and have hideous amounts of filler. That's not good writing. That is setting up a carrot which has no consequential ability to actually be there. The only reason books get that is because usually most of the books are already written because it's like an artificial way of continuation.
Yeah.
Or books usually have a contract that's like a 3-book deal, so it's already there.
One thing I'll suggest that pretty much perfectly describes my misgivings with the new Star Wars trilogy. They set up things, and the problem is the directors. They got 2 different directors for the movies. They did not have any sort of communication with each other about what this thing is, what it could lead to, what JJ in this case had
The thing is,
planned.
JJ made a Bible, and then the director, when they got whoever the new director is, threw it out because he was no, it's my movie.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
that especially, we had JJ, who is all about his mystery box. As much as this is subject for criticism in and of itself, he has this entire premise of his mystery box, of hinting towards stuff to come.
And I mean, the mystery box thing works perfectly if there's an established there's going to be a trilogy, essentially. The mystery box works fine as sort of suspense for potentially building on in the coming movies. That works fine. That works fine. You can put suspenseful things, plant seeds here and there for future movies to expound upon.
A good example is Steven Universe and Avatar. They do that, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
But
it
actually,
doesn't
someone in the
mix well.
chat points it out. Oh, sorry. But someone in the chat points it out. The original Samurai Jack series, which sadly is more the fault of the network that had it to cancel it, but Gendy got it back, could make a final season, and he completely forgot his own lore because they set up near the end of the original series like the guy who has like the vision of the future, and then besides one reference in like the second to last episode, they don't do anything.
They
with
literally
it.
forgot it.
Not to get the least spoilery thing possible, they had actually a very opaque setup for what they are planning to do with Jack. Yeah. And then they had to retcon all that because, well, they only had limited, which is fucking stupid. But this is your media. Say your thoughts.
No, I just realized the best thing in this entire book is this adorable bookmark I had in it. I got this in Paris at the anime convention.
But it's an upgrade from your previous bookmark with the 2 naked furry chicks with uber long arms.
Oh yeah. Anyways, So to put what is it? Injure to injury? No, insult to injury.
Insult to injury, salt in the wound.
Exactly. If you go to Audible for this book and look at this fucking rating, 16,000 people, 16,000 and a half people came to the conclusion that this book is on average 4.5 stars worth.
You know what the reason why for that is?
I do know, but give your guess.
My 2 guesses are, 1, it's a fantasy book read by people who don't understand good fantasy because these are probably over 40-year-old soccer moms who also think that fucking 50 Shades of Grey is both a good display of BDSM and basically submissive, kinky fantasy that they don't want to fulfill. Or 2, it's fucking over 40-year-old ladies who really have read this person's books for 10-some years and just automatically like it because it's the author that they always... supermarket ladies that find the book in the book section of a supermarket, grab it, and also get that with their copy of People.
Anyway, but this might play into it very much, but if you go down to the reviews, you actually find out the reason. And
please expound.
Are they paid reviews?
No, the reading must
They're verified reviews, probably.
The reading must actually be really good. If you look at it, stars in the middle, high, subpar fantasy written by, but great. Oh, yeah, okay. Here's first of all, in a nutshell, what the problem is. Subpar fantasy novel written by a great romance author. So she's basically producing those little those little naughty books for the housewife. But if you look at it,
the ones with the extremely shirtless men.
Exactly. But if you look at it, performance better than story. If you go down here, performance better than story. Magical apocalypse light. All pretty much. If you like The Stand, you wonder why you didn't just reread that. Here's this one is lovely narrator, lackluster story. 5 on the performance, the rest is down there. And then here we probably have an housewife. Mitchell. Whatever. Best apocalyptic book yet. Probably have never read one. Also here, 2 stars overall, 5 on performance, 1 on story.
How do you rate performance in a book? This sounds like a performance for a diet.
We are on Audible. It's audiobooks.
Okay.
So what it is, they're rating the performance rather than the story.
So
that makes sense. I can get behind that.
They shouldn't average out. That sounds like a very unbalanced average of them averaging out the 3 ratings, because that thing had a 2-star rating on one thing, the 4 to 5-star rating on the performance.
You select all 3 separately.
Okay, that makes sense.
It
that makes sense.
Oh God, thoughtfully enjoyed. Yeah, Maggie Kindle. No.
Maggie
please,
owns a minivan.
To drive to your
minivan.
Pick your children up at
I can't complain because I own an SUV, so I can't.
Yeah, but you don't have 2 children that are in the back of it and probably a baggie of Cheerios in your glove compartment.
Okay, I just realized something very horrible.
What's your realization?
That because I cannot read XSplit anymore, I have no idea how to end the show later.
We need you holding up on your webcam post show with a piece of paper.
Basically that. So I need to now improvise how to get our the desk to let the desktop disappear again.
All right. Well, you know what? We've been talking about shitty novels and shitty things. Let's get to some shitty questions. Welcome to the Q&A.
Yeah.
I want to do the Twitter ones first because I actually have that up for once. And we only have 2.
You want to do them fair?
Yeah. You know what?
I thought
it's the 99th episode. Let's do something different.
Exactly. I thought you were scared of one of the Twitter ones, but please go ahead.
You know what? I was scared when I was sober. Like the first chapter, like the first chapter of Allegrezza, after Octavia had 3 Jack Daniels, she started to like the taste.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Anyways, Agretsuki asks, if money was no object, describe your perfect dinner. Food. I like this question. Wuten, you're the guest. What would be your perfect
my perfect dinner? My perfect dinner would probably be. So there's this place downtown in the town that I live in called Pasta Grill. Mm-hmm. And they have this dish where if you get the spaghetti and meatballs,
yes.
instead of the little meatballs that you would typically see in just
they're
regular
the size
spaghetti.
Of a fist.
They're the fucking size of a fist.
That is a true Italian restaurant.
My literal fist.
Yes.
So if you've seen my hands in real life, they are quite large.
They are quite meaty.
They are the size of my fist. My fist.
Bitch, you need to take me to
there's
this place.
3 of them. There's 3 meatballs. It takes me. I have to break it into 7 different pieces to be able to eat a single meatball.
How many meatballs are in the dish? Is there only 2? 2 or 3 in the full dish?
3.
That is a true Italian spaghetti and meatballs. That is great.
It is.
Oh, I love that.
It is delicious. So I would get that, and then they have creme brulee. They have a creme brulee dessert that I would usually get. I get it on special occasions.
Mm-hmm.
It's this little dish of dark chocolate shavings on top of a chocolate-ish
custard. Creme brulee is custard with a blowtorch on top of it.
Custard. Yeah, and it's the most delicious thing I have ever had in my entire life.
You're making a good pitch for this, my friend.
So
it is. I've been having what's it? just like a red wine or something on the side.
So
cheers to that.
The ultimate, so money is not an issue, and the ultimate dish you can imagine for yourself is go down the street to this place you know that's good.
I'm going to defend this point though, in that here's the thing: you can go to a fucking 5-star Michelin star equated restaurant. However, money is not indicative of quality. Most places are overblown with the brand name recognition or something like that. Because some of the best places that you find of their respective, not food genres, types of food, is usually hole-in-the-wall places.
It's food libraries.
Food libraries, I guess. The subsections. If you use the Dewey Decimal System of countries and ethnic origins
You ever
of food.
seen Metalocalypse?
Yes, I've
they
seen
go to a
Metalocalypse.
supermarket and they calls it food
The
libraries.
food libraries. Yes. But okay, if that's your choice, Max, if money was no object, what would be your perfect dinner?
It goes a little bit further because it starts with I need to hire a private detective. This private detective then gets tasked with figuring out what happened to the guys who ran this restaurant here in Berlin called Ketchup and Mayo, which made the best burger ever. But then suddenly...
That is the best name for a restaurant.
I know!
It's also the most fitting name for a restaurant mentioned on this stream, given my
Ketchup
media
and mayo.
choice.
It's like, I know that you mean mayo, but your pronunciation makes it like, this is here that the name is, and your pronunciation makes it here.
This is literally the German name for it. I'm sorry.
I don't care. It's called mayo.
It's called mayonnaise.
I don't care. Anyway, continue.
Mayo. Yeah, and also it was a German restaurant, so obviously the real name is Ketchup and Mayo. But yeah, so hiring a PI to find what happened to the owners of this store, because one day we came in then was like, oh sorry, you have to, we are closed currently for renovations. Like, okay, cool. Coming back next week and they were gone and there was some kind of Asian whatever store inside and we were like, I hate you. And yeah, we have not find an as good burger place again. I mean, we have a decent one, but so yeah, this is a burger for the main dish. Obviously, then since money doesn't matter, I will
Make it a
fly.
7-course dinner.
I will. Yeah, obviously, I will fly in one of the best sushi chefs from Japan with his ingredients, so also good fresh sushi fish, and then he makes sushi live in front of me. Oh, I have been at this kind of place where they do the live sushi
Hibachi.
Like the Japanese steakhouse places?
in front of you, like.
Hibachi.
Yeah.
It's called a hibachi.
Sure, a hibachi chef, whatever. I get this. And for dessert, I really like sorbet. So I don't know, maybe fly in some Italian sorbet maker. I assume it's Italian. No, sorbet sounds French, so I guess I fly in a French sorbet maker.
Let me look it up because I think gelato is the Italian thing.
Yeah, and sorbet is a specific kind of ice, a certain preparation. And since
sorbet is a frozen. Okay, I know it's a frozen dish. What's its country of origin?
Probably French because it has a tea.
Italian. No, it is Italian.
It is Italian.
It is first entered language is Italian sorbetto.
So
which later became sorbet in French. So its first original name is Italian based, which means it is based. The first Western mention of sorbet is an Italian reference to something that is a Turkish drink. So it's from Turkey. What the heck?
Whatever. Now we have my perfect dish. Key.
Okay, I'm kind of going in the vein that Wuten did. So the no money as an object is for me to the travel cost. This is a personal dish. I would go back to Long Island, New York, the place where I came from, the place where my accent apparently is, because Indiana had no effect on that besides me using the word y'all. And
Indiana doesn't even really use y'all all that much, honestly.
Look, when you lived in Green Tucky, that basically was Kentucky.
That's the exception. That's the exception.
I lived in fucking Bloomfield, which is the outskirts of a college town where we only had a Dairy Queen and 2 stoplights. It was an event when we got a Subway. Anyway, Long Island. What I would do is recreate the meal I would always have with my dad, like certain days after he picked me up from school. To give reference, my dad would always pick me up from school. He didn't like the school bus and he didn't like me walking home. He felt like his personal job was to be the one who picks me up from school because he couldn't do much. He was sick for most of my life. What we would do is that, especially on when I had bad days from school, because I was bullied a lot in elementary school, he would take me to a pizzeria that was on Merrick Avenue called Eddie D's, which was run by the person it was named by, Eddie, and it's still ran by this guy. This fucking pizza place looked like it's straight out of the 80s. It's never changed its design. And I would get 2 slices of pepperoni pizza with a Barks root beer, and I would do what I did when I was a kid, and I would take the pepperonis off and stack it into a little tower and eat the tower after I finished the pizza. And,
that's so wholesome.
It's New York, so I would get it by the slice. You get it by the slice. He makes the pizza, and then he cuts the pizza and puts the slice in the oven. You get it as soon as it's out of the oven, so the cheese is still all gooey, everything is still all warm. And I would like to go with a person, and I would hope the person would order what my dad did. And he always ordered a slice of Sicilian, which is the square pizza. Mm-hmm. And then for dessert, I would get an Italian ice. We would always get the rainbow one with me asking for extra blue. I just love blue flavors of things, which usually is more like a bubblegum flavor than blue raspberry, in all honesty, when it comes to rainbow Italian ice. And then I would go to the 7-Eleven, which was right down the block, and get a blue Slurpee. And a lot of people would be like, you're in New York, which is one of the biggest flavor towns in the entire world, let alone the USA. Mm-hmm. But one, hole-in-the-wall place, like I would say. And 2, I think food is underappreciated in that it makes memories. It's a social experience when you eat food, especially going out to eat food or cooking food with someone. Yeah. And that is what I associate with a pleasant memory. And every time I went back to New York to visit, which was usually the summers after we moved from Indiana, and when I visited back after like BronyCon 2017, which was when my dad was in the hospital for the last time, I went to that restaurant, went to Eddie D's, and Eddie asked about Steven and everything. And I had that exact same meal, and it felt like those pleasant moments, and it felt like I was living in New York again, which is arguably some of the happiest moments of my life. And that's when I felt like everything would be okay. And if I had all the money in the world, I would go and visit that place as much as I fucking can, because nothing can change that. And I think that's worth whatever price tag it would be to take a good flight to New York and have all that food.
This is so much more wholesome than mine and A&Y's.
Yeah, and
cheers. Let's get a.
And you know the worst thing?
What?
The other Twitter question is.
Yeah. Okay. So Green Lizzie T asked Wuten, where are the pussy products at?
Well,
someone flipped this last moment to when I just said the question. And
aisle 8.
Okay, to give reference to people who don't watch Game Grumps.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So Dan told a story about 2 moments where he was around some very stereotypical African-American women. And one was at a KFC where the person ordered like 2 giant family meals, and like the person was like, "Is this all for you?" And she was like, "What, you think I can eat all this by myself?" And then the cashier was like, "Bitch, I don't know your life." And then the other one was like this crackhead walks into a CVS and yells to the cashier from across the CVS, "Yo, where are the pussy products at?" It's much funnier when Dan says it.
It is.
Anyway,
but yeah, not to be that guy. We only have 2 questions down. It's already 10:30, so we need to... Rapid fire. We can do this.
Let's do this.
Sucker.
Wait till we get to the 100th episode.
Oh boy.
Okay, so let's see. You know what? Denim asks, for everyone, what TV trope would you use to describe yourself? If you have trouble thinking of one, you can ask the others for help. As someone who reads TV trope as a hobby, this is a great question.
Oh, so you are assigning all of us our TV
That would probably
tropes.
be a better question for you, Keyframe, to describe me, because I don't read TV tropes.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't really follow it.
Wuten, typical Mary Sue.
If I wanted to like be mean, I would say a date with rosy palms. But I would say you're the ace, which is the trope of someone who has a higher skill set than a lot of the people around him. And I would say specifically for this podcast, because you're someone who's a very charismatic person who can think on his feet, which is why you run D&D campaigns. And you also have the skill of being a semi-consistent narrator for the internet while also holding a day job.
Oh, thank you. That's nice.
Again, wholesomeness. I don't know why I become more wholesome when I'm drinking, but there we go. I'm a mushy drunk, apparently. Anyway, Max, do you know a TV trope that describes you, or should I assign you one?
You can assign me one, but first I want to go with the one that I want to pick. Which is probably completely off.
So your power fantasy, okay.
Exactly, my power fantasy, because since we talked while playing HOTS again after forever, that there is actually TV tropes pages in which I get mentioned.
Did you read yours?
Wait, there's a page on me? I only read the page for Brownalysis
the general page for Brownie analysis.
Exactly, and then I commanded F for where I'm named. And
Are
one
you on former analysis? No, you're not. Okay.
And the one where I one of the tropes that got assigned to me was ambiguously evil, and I like it. Like, it's never really clear, but there are hints, but it never gets said out loud. So yeah, I guess I could be ambiguously evil.
Can I just say I love the fact, like, it's a little bit of a firm affirmation to me of how at least poignant that review was, that one of your tropes is the berserk button for your hatred of the title cutie map from our collab. That makes me feel happy.
Oh, I did not see that one, but it fits,
I mean,
guess.
I think it's my second most viewed video on my channel behind the Undertale dub, which is
but then
very
again,
happy.
Ironically, is this really a berserk button for me? Because I always
They say a mild one, so they just, I think it's more of a annoyed button.
Because here's the thing, if you remember, I believe the episode was like every time the title gets said, I go like, Ugh.
Yeah, so it's
and eventually you attack
button.
me. So it is a button for me, and my is your berserk button.
The funny thing is, I think I get more angry in that review than you. I get angry in a lot of the videos of my channel.
Yes,
mostly getting angry at the people I collab with. But no.
But what would you assign me if not ambiguously evil?
If I assigned you, I think I forget what the actual.
Is there a TV trope called The German?
No. The two ones I would assign you is one, I know there's a trope, but I can't remember the name, but it basically means like dry, deadpan personality. I like to say that it's the British humor personality, which is funny. The second one, you're going to be like, cringe, is I think you fit as a person with jerk with a heart of gold.
Excuse me, I literally drink out of skulls.
I know, but you know what? As someone who knows you for 5 years, I know you have a soft side deep down.
Aww.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Oh,
no.
The deadpan snarker?
Yes, there we go. Deadpan snarker. That is the name of it.
I can live with that.
Thank you, Wuten. So you at least have one that you approve of publicly.
It's true. Also, I'm going to link our TV tropes.
Yes, that's what I'm reading right now to see what people actually say online. Can I just say, I'm surprised that I have the one that says the alcoholic. Though then again, it's because of one collab that I did with Voice where I get drunker and drunker each time because the comic that we read is actually one that in real life pissed me off a lot. Also, the earn your happy ending one. Not going to say long on that one, but Christ, I hate the fact that it's true, but still. I think mine would be the... I don't know what would be mine, because that's the weird thing. I can assign ones to others, but I can't assign one to myself in the sense that... Well, no, it's just a thing that I don't know.
No, it's the usual thing. You are more critical with yourself, and
I am very critical with myself.
Either you go down wish fulfillment and are like, oh yeah, I totally want to be XY. It feels weird.
I know it feels weird, and it's also the thing of, because we are content creators, there's a specific, more or less, even if it's subtle, there is a distinction between the character that we present to the public and who we are in ourselves. So it is also, I like that when I hit the back button of TV Tropes, it went to moral oral. I hate the fact that it did that. But like, because I would say that out of all of us, Keyframe, the character is a lot different than me as a person. I'm a much perkier character as Keyframe. Meanwhile, when I'm in real life, I'm a lot more down low. But that may be an evolution in and of itself. Though I guess the closest thing I would say is me as an artist. I feel like the art evolution is something that I would count, because in a very short period of time, I've improved vastly on my art, in my opinion. Especially when I stopped using colored outlines, because I stopped getting influenced by the pony show. And probably, okay, at least one for the sake of me as a creator, meaningful name / arc words. I like those tropes of names have some sort of meaning, because like one of my characters in AWKWARD used to be a much more straightforward name, but now is like Theodore Schrift, which is a shortened form of Schriftsteller, which means writer. And arc words, in that I like shows, and thus I like to put in stuff with my media of words or certain phrases that eventually culminate to something like believing, trust, and going to that. So that's personally mine. I don't really have one as me as a person, because there's a lot of things. The tropes I pick as me as a person is a lot more entertaining than ones that I pick for me as a creator. Let's just put it like that. Anyway, we can probably do 2 more questions. Let's see. I don't want to pick Denham's other one, because picking...
But it's also a good one, I recall.
We don't have a lot of time because
true.
You have a real life. Maybe no, it doesn't work because it's a guest oriented. Okay, this is a quick one, I guess. So Denham also asks, Wuten, the first time Ayan and Key invited you to the show, did you think it would just be a one-time fling, or did you know they keep coming back for more? I feel like it was
suspicion
said like that.
I had a suspicion that I'd probably be on here again. I had a suspicion, but I just didn't know when. And well, you know, it was. I'm 3 for 3 right now, and we're looking to be.
It's your 4th appearance, actually. You were here 3 times in last year.
Yeah, because I think in season 2 we invited you twice. I think one was as a backup guest. Really, in season 2 alone?
Yeah, let's
You
see.
actually have appeared more in one season per quota than I think our most reoccurring guest, which is Ambrose, did. And Ambrose is really?
Yes!
What is it?
Victory.
Episode 24 in season 2. Episode 44.
Is this Ambrose or Wuten?
Wuten. And
Okay.
episode 7.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Ambrose last season.
Ambrose is our most recurring guest. I think in the order, Ambrose is the...
He got also 3 last season.
Oh, so you're
wait,
tied.
no. Oh, no, there's one more which I misspelled. There are 4 times. No, Ambrose was 4 times on last season.
Okay, Ambrose goes to the very...
2 times this season already.
Yeah, okay, so Ambrose is the tippy top, but I think you are definitely the second place.
Well, let's count British Ninja.
Oh, okay, I don't think British Ninja should count simply because he's been a guest co-host.
Oh,
as
true.
a guest in and of itself, I think is the distinction here, which I think is Ambrose, then
Emerald is fucking high up. Because Emerald,
and then it's a basic split between people who we had recur as a guest twice, which would be like Warren, Denham, probably like a few other Kichi. Though Kichi counts as a guest host, there's a lot of them.
Also very fitting for one episode before 100, in case we haven't mentioned it often enough.
Yes, exactly. I wanted to pick someone that we know we would have a good long show with that wasn't Ambrose, because that would be the obvious choice. Let's see. Okay, from Wolfette, this isn't a fuck, marry, kill question.
What?
Hey!
I know, he said, you know what, I'm switching out my fuck, marry, kill for a lewd would you rather. Though Enigma came through with a fuck, marry, kill question, so we got that still. Ask Awkward, does size matter? Not really. Depends on who's driving the ship, Captain, winky face. Would you rather have him... I would still laugh if I was sober, just saying. Would you rather have a micro penis or a penis so long it could touch the tip of your toes? Ian, I'm so sorry. Why are you just apologizing to him? There's two people with there's two penile-enabled people on this podcast right now.
Also, Keyframe, the question goes to you as well, I guess.
Would I become Fuda or would I become male? This is the question right here. I'm going to let you boys decide because
a question for the ages.
Yes, I'm going to let you boys decide. What's more appealing, me being Fuda or me being male?
Fuda.
I know, look, I expect from you. Fuda is dick girl, so they still have tits.
So they have some... But there is dick in general.
Pussy too. I think
it depends. It depends on the interpretation of the Fuda.
Either way, there is one dick too many. So I probably would go for. Oh God, why is the entire chat going for Fuda?
Because I would still at least have boobs and be more identified as female, I guess, which is more familiar for the chat and I guess more appealing for the male members of the chat. I don't know. I'm just gonna pick Fuda for the sake of it.
I'm a simple man. I would probably go for all man. Then at least it's like less questioning my own sexuality because there's not a hidden...
Personally, I would choose male too, but majority rules here. Hi, I'm Fuda Frame. Anyway, would you rather Mike?
Yes!
Stop being so happy. You have no taste. You like crotch tits. Anyways.
I do. Oh. Stop criticizing me for that.
Would you rather have a micro penis or a penis so long it touches the tip of your toes?
Okay.
You get the first pick.
I so hope that our next week's guest, who is a first-timer, does not decide to tune in right now to see, what show did I sign up?
Don't you dare do a would you rather next week, Wolf, I swear.
We need to establish the effectiveness of the long penis.
Mm-hmm.
If your penis is down to, like, your foot, it's not going to be very effective in its one purpose.
I'm trying to think proportional-wise.
Like
proportional-wise, the tip would also be very big, because if it touches your feet, would the tip be like the size of at least an average, a slightly smaller than average penis?
Well,
you wouldn't get the satisfaction
because,
of shoving a full thing in there.
It's less of... It's not talking about, like, width or diameter or anything. It's only talking about length. So you have a really long, really average slimness of a penis. It's not going to be very useful for its one purpose. So in the choice of having to choose between either one that goes down to your foot or having a micro penis, I would probably choose the micro penis.
Yeah, because at least you have the choice of, like, there's other ways to do sexual acts. It just feels like, because you do more with life than just sex, believe it or not. It feels like you'd be dragging the thing. I know the person with the world's longest penis actually has a terrible
We also have to
time
decide whether or not it's down to your foot while flaccid.
Also, you would another thing to keep in mind is you would probably, if you would get an erection, you would probably
kill the woman.
No, not just kill the woman, kill yourself. You would die because your brain there's not enough blood. Yes, all the blood goes down there.
All of the blood in your body.
Yeah, and your brain doesn't get any.
Drain, and you would pass. You might not. Okay, Max. You might not die, but you would almost certainly pass out.
However,
I'm just gonna say this: if you don't pass out, I like the mental imagination scene that I have of this person with this skyscraper long penis, and because the blood flow is completely cut off, he just becomes like the worst level of mentally retarded. And that's not me being insulted. He has literally no blood flow for his brain to function.
Yeah.
However, in a surprise twist, I still go with the foot-touching penis.
Okay, please tell us your reasoning.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Very easy. A reduction sounds a lot more medically possible than an increase.
Okay.
Right. Right.
This fucking loophole because first of all, I don't want to imagine a penis reduction surgery. That sounds fucking painful because that's just nothing but nerve-ending
and the tip scrubbing over the asphalt does not sound painful to you.
I mean, you could have a pair of pants to hold it up. Also, just saying, can you imagine a circumcision for a tip of your toes penis? Is that like the most painful? Anyways.
But yeah, I mean, I go for the reduction. Also, this proves Wolf had wrong, who was already celebrating that everybody picked micropenis.
Look, I'm just gonna say my reasoning for picking micropenis. Mm-hmm. Masturbation would be a damn chore, cause like. Fucking,
yeah, you're right. You're right. Having a.
I know that Wuten picked that it would still be average girth. I'm not for that shit. It's gonna be fully proportional no matter what. So it's gonna be a fucking girthy ass penis. Wuten gonna have.
You would have to use like both hands though.
Ass penis. If she picks penis so long it hits the tip of your toes. The thing is, like. First of all, I don't know what fucking gay man would allow me to stick that kind of thing in them. Because I'd probably still be into guys. So I'd be a bottom for the rest of my life. Second of all, how do you jerk off a thing like that? Like, do you use both hands and just go up and down? You wouldn't even be able to reach the tip, which scientifically is the most nerve endings in one place.
Yeah.
How does someone give a blowjob to that thing? Like, you have to be able to be a snake and unhinge your damn jaw. It just feels like too much trouble, man. And even penis reduction surgery. I live in America. We don't have socialized healthcare. That would cost an arm and a leg. I have the biggest girthiest GoFundMe ever to try to get this fucking surgery. No, I'd rather choose the micro penis. At least I could, like, satisfy a man in other ways. I have one hole, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Now, I think we should move on to the fuck, marry, kill question. Should we? Or, I mean, there is one for
you have to roll it up like a fire hose.
There's a Wuten one that can work out, but I don't know how long this one would go. So, I don't know. It's up to you. You're the one in the latest time zone, so I'm going to ask you.
Trying to scan if there is any other.
No, there's one by Dark Raven that actually does work for Wuten, so that's why I'm asking.
What?
Like, it's exclusive to Wuten. It's right above Enigmas.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I understand you review Klopfix and NSW things. He doesn't review them; he reads them.
Yeah, first of all, I don't do reviews. I read them,
and even then, that's a stretch. But like, okay, I will reword it to fit the Wuten way. You've read Klopfix and NSFW things. What is the very best and the very worst you've witnessed?
Do I have to put links in the description for that?
No, not for this one. Let's not get banned.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I read a story by a friend of mine, a real-life friend of mine, called, let's see.
Nora Roberts?
No.
He's friends with Nora Roberts. I'm so sorry.
It is a story of... Now, this guy, I haven't spoken to him in years just because we sort of fell out of contact.
Wow, this story must have been really bad.
He loved the reading of it simply because it was absolutely bullshit. It was the first reading that I ever did on my channel that wasn't like just me. It was,
it's your first.
It wasn't. It was the first story where I actually had other people collaborating with me on the production. It was the very first collaborative production. Because I know that Gudia Serenade did the voice or not the voice. He did the audio editing for like the music and whatnot. It was the first time he had done this for me, and so it grew out of that. And this was the setting of Cupcakes set. And he inserted his original character Eclipse. Now he's really into things like Final Fantasy and whatnot, so it's It goes pretty much the way you can assume it goes. It's
Okay.
It's the cringy edgelord bullshit where he saves.
Does he have a red and black
Dash.
OC? Does it go like he saves Rainbow Dash or Pinkie Pie?
Not red, not red initially.
Initially,
what
what
happens,
does he transform
so what
after
happens
he
is
comes?
he has an alter ego. Now I can't remember what this alter ego's name was because I think midway through the story I got confused because he started using a different name for this alter ego and I can't remember what the name was, but it was like 2 different names.
Oh no, I don't like
And
this.
so he's a black OC, but when he gets this alter ego going, he gets red eyes. And there's actually a picture that Oblivion Fall made it
Christian,
for me.
Why?
Christian made it for me pro bono. And it is...
Is there a link?
That makes
So-
it hurt more because he did it for free. A talented man gave you free edgy art.
He gave me free edgy art and it was so good. I used it as the title card and I made edits on it as the story went along.
No,
It was
Nice.
so good.
Can I find
So
this
what's
in
your-
time?
Is it still listed?
It is still listed. It
What's
should
the name
still
of
be Bloodlust Bakery.
Okay, I
Oh,
can
that's
find it.
already a great name.
It's-
So while
it's
he's
not
looking
a-
it up.
It's not the story isn't listed anymore, but the video is.
Okay. So while he's looking it up, so we can see the title card that Christian, one of our lovely guests, have made. What's your best one?
The best one, I think the best one that I ever put together was. It's gonna have to be either.
Is the Daring Do one at least on your mind? Because I know you've done a lot.
That one is definitely on my mind. Yes, there it is. There it is. There
Oh
it
no!
is.
See, the thing
He
I
made this-
expected was
Made
him
this
making
for
it.
me.
This is the thing. I was expecting him to use the puppet rig that he makes. So this
No,
is
no,
actually
he-
pretty surprising
he
to
did
what
actually art for
what
me.
I thought. How did you make edits to it? Like scrub through the timeline, Max. I want to see
Scroll
how
through it. Roundabout like halfway. Yeah, there we are.
That is some gimp ass shit right there of you using like fucking. Did you use Photoshop or MS Paint, my dude?
I used MS Paint 10,000 hours.
Hell yeah! But what's your best one?
Now the best one is. Oh wait, there was one more edit on that where I took like a
Is it like
transparent
midway
PNG
or what is
of
it?
the Bane mask. For,
Oh,
like,
yeah!
a brief moment.
Oh!
There it is. There it is.
I guess we have our art of the
Oh,
week.
I love it. Oh, this takes me back.
You
Oh.
need to use like the fucking snipping tool and like
Yeah.
videos. You can't make it good. It has to be like a compressed JPEG.
Yeah. Oh, this takes me back. Oh.
Anyways, your best
Best-
one. Like, don't keep
Anyway,
people
this
singing.
is probably going to have to go to either Stamina, which was the one that me and Free Lizzie T voiced in together, or
She ran out of knives.
probably Big Brother is Watching You, because I enjoyed doing that one so
That
much.
one's a good one. I still love the one we did for Princess Month, given just the sheer size of it. I remember you saying
Oh,
how
yeah,
long
yeah.
it took you to edit. But oh god, I need to not talk a lot more because I realize the inner part of my lips is stained by the wine. Anyway, our last question. Welcome to Fuck, Marry, Kill, where we make our guests feel as awkward as possible. This time done by Enigma instead of Wolfhead. Ask Awkward, take 2. Oh no, okay, that was for a previous question. Ask Awkward. Fuck, Marry, Kill, Broadway musicals. Kinky Boots, Hamilton, and Cats. Notes, have an awkward time. He made it kind of like singing, so. Anyways. I'm just gonna start because I'm the big musical nut. I've never seen Kinky Boots, so I guess kill that. I know Brendan Urie was in it, so it has some quality, and it's also made by Cyndi Lauper. So
okay, any context what Kinky Boots is? Oh boy, this looks weird.
Honestly, I don't know anything about Kinky Boots. All I know is that it was a musical that was very hyped up because I think it's about drag queens. Like,
Okay.
Wait, is this? Oh, this guy also looks again like Alan Tudyk, but he isn't.
I don't think Tudyk has done a Broadway performance. But yeah, oh my God, Cyndi Lauper.
But look, he really looks a little bit like him.
He does, like a younger one.
Yeah. There,
but
look.
I mean, here's the thing. Just to preface, I want to look at Kinky Boots. I'm not saying that it's not a good one, but it's simply the one I know the least.
This sounds to me more like a fuck. You still want to get to know it, but you don't want to commit yet.
No. Here's the thing. Given the other two choices, I'm going to kill it. Because as a furry bastard, I want to fuck cats.
Oh my God. And then Mary Hamilton.
You know what? One furry point of view, I'll just fuck it. And also the person who made the musical, while he has talent, he's also one of the most made fun of Broadway producers in all of media. Fucking South Park made explicit fun of him. And how often does South Park make fun of Broadway people? For people who don't know, the episode where they, like, I think Stan and his wife goes to Wicked, and after they go to Wicked, Stan's wife gives him a blowjob, and they find out that apparently Broadway musicals makes their wives horny and gives them sexual favors, so Stan makes a Broadway musical that basically makes songs that say give your husband blowjobs, because they're like, oh no, every Broadway musical has subliminal messages to give your husband's blowjobs, something like that.
I love it.
Andrew Lloyd Webber, that's the name of
that's the name.
First of all, watch that episode. It is funny as fuck. Second of all, but yeah, so I would fuck cats and I would marry Hamilton because, for one thing, imagine the status you would get of being married to the musical that rejuvenated the entire Broadway musical genre, that introduced a bunch of people of this current generation, and even the generation before, millennial and Gen Zers, of the presence of Broadway musicals, because I think you can argue that people didn't pay much attention to it until like Hamilton and Heathers and Dear Evan Hansen came out, but Hamilton was really that breakthrough one that also broke through to the general mainstream and like let people, like, I mean, people performed it on like Good Morning America and talk shows, and Lynn became that one theater person that was on everything and then works for Disney as a leading role and all that shit. So I would marry Hamilton. Can I just say, I also hope that the personification of Hamilton looks like Lin-Manuel Miranda, because damn, he is a fine looking boy. But yeah, that's my choices. Should we go to the guest or the host? I don't know which one would give the more awkward answer. You know what? You're the guest. You go next.
Okay. Well, in that case, I will kill cats to put it out of its misery. Sorry.
It's already a show that's not on Broadway anymore. Why would you kill it?
We need to put it out of its misery.
Are you going to euthanize it, take it to the vet?
Euthanize the cats.
Okay. But yeah.
Fuck Kinky Boots, because that seems like an interesting story. And I would like
Plus
to.
the lead singer of Panic at the Disco.
Hey.
Hey.
And like you said, marry Hamilton, because imagine the status that you would get. And also, Hamilton himself was quite a wealthy individual for that time period, and thus.
Wow. You would. Anyway, Max, please pick a different. I think I know
no worries.
who you're going to pick for married. I think I'm going to know who you pick.
I'm going to marry. What do I pick?
I feel like you're going to pick cats because that was your awakening to the furry fandom.
It's actually true.
I remember that.
I already have a lifelong story with cats, so it's only natural that I continue for the rest of my. Well,
I don't think you've ever told it on the podcast, though.
Well, it was basically that I was in 11th grade, actually. No, 10th grade. 11th grade. 11th grade, okay. I was in 11th grade over in America because my parents, my English, believe it or not, English was one of my worst subjects at school. And my parents wanted to pimp my English a little bit, which, spoilers, worked actually through this very trip. Because it kind of loosened my tongue, and after that I started using English as a spoken language, not as a subject in school, and it got me to the point where I am today. But yeah, so they sent me to this American family who had like this wall in the basement which was just DVDs, and one of the DVDs was Cats, and I watched it, and I realized that those people in their anthropomorphic get-up and doing all the movement and stuff, that it spoke to me on a level that was not just casual enjoyment. Oh. I mean, there's a little sex scene right before the break.
Someone was at the door.
Yeah. But yeah, so I have a long history with cats, and it's always like, and you don't say,
I came back to you saying, talking about the sex.
But cat's so clever, it's magical, Mr. So I can still
other
sing
ones because you look like such a nerd right now.
I know, right? And then staying true to what I said earlier, if you want to find something out about somebody but are not ready for commitment, so I guess I will sleep with Kinky Boots and kill Hamilton. Historically accurate.
No, I hate the fact that you're right.
Yay!
You would be fucking
he did it.
Burr. How dare
He did the meme. Hamilton is dead.
Wait. Didn't Maximus, when she made all that Hamilton art with the Bernie analysis, made you Burr? I can't even say that's awkward because that's actually kind of amazing.
Well, this was the 99th episode of the Amazing Cast. See you all next week for the 100th. Bye!
Bye!
Goodbye.
A and Y and Key say hi to the people in the chat. The memes are seen on this live stream as they talk about random grabs. Time for awkward guests. It's the awkward. Random guests and funny gags on the awkward guests. It's the awkward. Artwork and analysis, which you do not want to miss on awkward.